سلام.
Hello, good evening. I hope you liked our presentation. Well, given that we don't have much time, I will be very quick. I will try to be very quick and concise. My name is Milad Afshari. I'm the Enterprise Network Planning Manager at MTN Irancell. I'm also a co-founder and a chair of IRRs, and I'm very happy to be the program committee of CAPIF that is taking place in Kazakhstan for the second time already. Well, the main reason behind choosing this topic is that last year I spoke about routing security in the region. And I prepared it for CAPIF 3 in Bishkek, and I made a presentation on this topic on routing security in the region. So in the last few months, I've studied the situation, and based on the information that I saw in the presentation, I believe that Central Asia still has room for improvement. And therefore, I have decided to study this area again and to cover it in my presentation. Well, this is just to present the situation, but and that might also help those who work with internet services and BGP services in the region. I mean, for them to improve their work. I mean, we all know what BGP is, what a gateway protocol that is, and we all know that internet uses IPv4 and IPv6 addresses and versions, and this whole infrastructure helps us exchange data. BGP is also a protocol that kind of acts the protocol helping us send data and makes them visible in internet. But given that there are some old protocols that were invented 30 years ago, and therefore BGP has limited capacity and its security is somewhat questionable. So back then, actually, the BGP security was based on the trust between the providers. And the prefixes that are taken from the others are kind of taken simply on a trust basis. Well, now, given the development of internet, the data that you can see here can no longer be used just purely on a trust. I did this work with a Cloudflare. I mean, took this data from a Cloudflare radar, and currently we have 113,000 autonomous systems, and 77,000 of them use IPv4, and 35,000 of them use IPv6. So you can actually see how the number of IPv6 increased, and actually the total number of users increased as well. So out of 133,000 autonomous systems, they give about 1.3 million of prefixes, of which slightly above a million is IPv4 and under 250,000 are IPv6. And all of this, of course, creates problems with BGP. The main two problems are the prefix hijacking and route leaks. And when the traffic gets redirected, that's with prefix hijacking. And someone, the network itself can deliberately hijack an IP address or a prefix for its own usage, for its own needs. And the next big problem is the route leak, where a network operator with multiple upstream providers announces, oftentimes due to accidental misconfiguration, to one upstream provider that it has route to destination to other upstream providers. So, and as a result, this kind of route leak can lead to a situation that rerouted kind of data can be used for traffic inspection and reconnaissance. So, given the BGP is triggered almost everywhere, and there can also be some misconfiguration that can lead to global outages. And there is also no built-in verification, and there are ways to address all these problems. As you can see here, I gave you another BGP incidents overview. About annually, the 10,000 autonomous systems incidents are recorded, and we can never take it to zero. All we have to do is find ways to make a secure BGP. Problems with YouTube in 2018. We had a very serious My Ether wallet attack, and the event was that the BGP was hijacked. As a result, the DNS was redirected, and phishing of cryptocurrency wallets has happened. That way, they were able to steal a lot of money, and then steal money from people, and today a total volume about $17 million. So, and that's exactly why I'm saying that the BGP needs to be made in a more secure way, or needs to be updated to be more secure. So, what are the solutions to these kind of problems, to these kind of risks? So when the risks began growing, the providers and operators, of course, began coming up with some different ways to address and to remove the difficult shortcomings of BGP1. And one of those was the Internet Routing Registry, IRR. IRR is the Internet Routing Registry. IRR has its own databases that can be used by the clients. It can be used to store data, and also can be used to declare BGP announcements. What policies exist? So when we use the IRR databases, we can look at the incidents and we can see the existing kind of examples. There are a lot of IRR databases, and many of them are redundant, or many of them are copies of one another. But a number that are active and are effective are listed here. We're talking about RIPE, APNYC, RADP, GPIRRL, and so on. I'm sure that we all use them. I mean, given that we are in the RIPE region and work with RIPE, we use RIPE registries. Why register routing information? Well, the answer is quite simple. We sometimes want to demonstrate and reveal our address so that we're seen, so that we're recognized and known. And if the laws that we pass are not respected, then thanks to the open and declared addresses, we can find who breaks the law and who disrespects the law. And that is why many providers and IXPs make a kind of require declaring routes and AS numbers. Yes, for the IRR objects, then usually the databases are extensive, modern, they have several objects such as Route 6 out, I should say, and thanks to these Route 6 out home filter set Route set. So these thanks to these objects, you can filter your data. IRR object, you know that the route and Route 6, the prefixes that you are familiar with. Well, a very simple scenario that we can that I can give you for read 6 objects. It is set of information for kind of routers, and it can show you where some of the requests are coming from. What are the BGP routing policies? So actually, it is a data that is stored in these databases. How can we use them and how can we store them? It is very easy. The routing policy actually shows you who your BGP peers are, shows the autonomous systems, shows the BGP relationship, whether they're transit providers, peers, or clients. In any of the cases, the policies that we follow vary. And for each of the policies, depending on the partner, I will accept the prefixes and I will kind of send them to different other directions. RPSL language is the routing policy specification language that allows network operators specify their routing policies. Where can you learn about the RPSL language? Actually, it's available on the website. And the benefits here that they do not have any limitations. You can use them for different routers.
So using our PSL language, for instance, I have a simple example of routing. If I'm a provider, my provider gives me the addresses. My transit provider, because they provide me with the internet access. My policy can get everything from this provider. Speaking about the XP policy, can use this based on my policy with regard to my clients and peers, and all of this helps to ensure the safe servers. I use this RPSL language in my own work. This tool helps me to automate BGP. Here you can see I specified several RIPE hierarchical setting. You can see this. And of course, there are some other tools. Again, this depends. Well, there are certain limitations, IRR limitations, since many duplicate each other. No one checks whether this data is precise, reliable. Many trust to those who enter all this data. That's why we could use those IRRs that help us to not to create or avoid multiple mistakes when filtering our BHP. In the first slide, we saw that 50% of the companies do have RPKI, and they use RPKI. And by signing All of this happens automatically, and validators could use our PKI to check whether there is a working route or it's not a working route. And in order to exclude this, now the policy says that there is HD fee in 50%. We cannot rely on RPKI only. We must use the IRR. Combination RPKI IRR results in a situation the level of safety and BHP is very high. This is raw data by country. The closer they are to the green, the better traffic is signed. The redder it is, the less of it is being signed. I'd like to ask my colleagues in Kazakhstan and Central Asia, those who work in this area, I'd like them to start signing their raw data just to be able to have all of these in green. Combination of RPKI and RAW helps us to effectively protect BHP hijacking. Well, it doesn't really mean we shouldn't update RAW. 50% of prefixes operate through these tools. Since my time is limited and I speak very fast, here I published some references, sources, and literature. Should you have any questions, please